join me in applauding Luke Donald, who is the Player of the Year, the US PGA Tour Player of the Year.
Thank you.
I only have to do this because I'll be the only one drinking. I'm sure you won't, but I certainly will.
I was thinking that's a little early for that.
Not in this country.
We haven't even started the first round.
Not when you're a POM in this country. I just have to do this, Luke. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What a year it's been, eh?
Cheers.
This is my idea, actually.
Is it?
I give me the chicken, though. The chicken to go with the champagne.
Cheers.
Everybody settled? Cheers to you too.
Yeah.
Cheers. Everybody ready? Well, Luke, it's just marvellous to have you here. I mean, what a year. It's been wonderful for you, both on the European tour and the US tour. We did get a little nervous last week when I heard Renton say that now he's in for a long rest. I felt like calling up and saying, well, actually, he's coming over here now. So just for this is your last week of play?
This is my last week, yeah, and it's great to finish off my year in Australia. It's my first time ever, first time competing as a professional to Australia. My second time here ever, and excited to finish off a great year, and hopefully I can have another good week and hopefully finish it off in style.
When did you last play in Australia?
I only came over once, yeah, as an amateur, Lake Macquarie. Must have been mid to late 90s, so it was a while ago. I had some good times up in Newcastle, and I think I ended up losing second to Scott Strange that year, but excited to be back again.
Have you played Victoria, or have you had a look around Victoria?
I came up here yesterday and practiced for a while. Obviously saw a couple of the golf holes from the range and from the putting green, and it looks amazing, and it's one of the reasons why I wanted to come to Australia. I've heard so much, so many good stories about the Sandbelt and their famous courses. I'm a big Mackenzie fan. I'd love to get further into golf architecture, and I think this is a great place to start looking at some of the best courses in the world, and I'm excited to be here.
Terrific. Questions, ladies and gentlemen, please. Mark.
Oh, Luke, do you have any fuel left in your tank at all? And did you celebrate it all after Dubai?
Well, I did have a few celebratory drinks. Yeah, the flight over was a little rough, but I'm feeling a lot more rested now. Certainly do have enough fuel in the tank. I had a good 5 weeks off before I played the Nedbank and Dubai. Obviously, it's a lot of travel, but I feel like I managed my schedule pretty well this year. There was a couple times where I got a little bit tired, but right now I certainly have enough to get through this week, and obviously looking forward to a break, but excited about this week.
Just following up from that, look, the notion of a break, and obviously the last few weeks have been pretty hectic for you. Is there any chance that there's going to be a letdown this week? Basically, are we going to see you at your best?
I hope so. I'll be giving my best for sure. Certainly there's been times throughout the year where I have played a lot, and I've had to really dig deep for a little bit of extra energy to find to find enough to compete well. But I certainly feel like I'm not dragging too much right now. Obviously, I've only been on the road a couple of weeks, so I haven't been on the road for many more than that. So I feel like I have enough energy to give hopefully everyone a good show.
Steve.
Is it draining being world number one, or does it give you a bounce? Or
both. Both. I think there's obviously more time commitments, more expectation. So physically and mentally, it can be draining at times. But I really try and feed off all the positives that have happened and have gotten me to number one. I think any time you struggle on the golf course, you go back to those times when you've had successes, and you feed off that, and it gives you strength to try and step up another gear and find a few extra birdies out there.
Do you think that you can? Sorry, do you think you can keep going with the same sort of schedule as you try to hold on to the ranking and yet also chase that first major as well? I mean, Can you deliver the same sort of consistency while you chase that major, do you think?
I hope so. Certainly it's been a breakout year for me, but 2012, my schedule will be very similar. You know, I'll concentrate on both tours. Obviously, you know, being a Ryder Cup year, I'm excited to try and earn enough points or world ranking points to get into that. And, you know, it won't really change too much. The only time I ever felt a little bit over-golfed was around the US Open this year. It was a mixture of maybe playing one event too many around that time and a mixture of going through a little bit of an illness. I had strep throat for a while and that brought me down. But otherwise, I think I managed my schedule pretty well. I took breaks when I needed to. It's not easy playing both tours and traveling as much as I have done, but certainly it's worthwhile when you can come out and win both money lists and see the accomplishments, and certainly it's been a great year for me.
Next.
How will you cope with the added pressure and expectations? People see you out here at the Masters after the year you've had, and they'll expect you to win the Masters.
Well, I expect myself to do well as well, and again, you feed off all the positives, and that drives you. You know, I'm not a big believer in just mentally telling yourself you're great. You have to do it through actually physically. I've done stuff in the past to kind of build up that mental side, and certainly, you know, there's a lot of great great tournament victories, great awards that I've won this year that I feed off, and you know, that drives me to believe in myself, and you know, I still continue to work hard on my game.
Luke, prior to you becoming number one, Tiger Woods was the dominant player for more weeks than anyone else. Has the game changed, or is it still possible for an individual player to dominate for multiple weeks or years unchallenged?
Certainly, you know, since Tiger had some of his troubles and obviously had some injuries as well and went away, you know, it opened up the door for other players to kind of step in and you know, take control of the world rankings. You know, I've been fortunate to be one of those to do that. Obviously, Lee Westwood, Martin Kaymer were number one for some weeks as well. I'm not sure, you know, I've been quite dominant this year, but I'm not sure I ever dominated like Tiger did. But you know, from a personal standpoint, I'm looking forward to 2012. I still think there's a lot of things that I can accomplish and improve on. You know, whether I'll ever get to what Tiger did in terms of his record is probably unlikely. But you know, I continue to strive to improve on myself and give myself chances to win tournaments.
Mark.
Luke, going to the expectation thing again, how important is it for you to be able to meet your expectations like you did at Disney? What's happened mentally for you to be able to go, I need to win this tournament, and just go bang?
Well, I think Disney, you know, I've said probably out of all the wins I had this year was probably the most satisfying just because of that. You know, when you have kind of a do-or-die situation, when you know you have to win to accomplish something and to create opportunities and make those birdies, you know, when I needed them most, you know, that gives you a huge boost of confidence. And, you know, yeah, that win was the most satisfying, I suppose, out of all of them because of that. And it gave me the opportunity to create history and win both money lists. You know, without going there and winning that week, obviously it would have been a little bit different. But certainly, yeah, you really do feed off those situations.
So 3 or 4, 5 years ago, you were having a good career. What's made it so that it's now great? Like, what's happened to you mentally? Was it the planning? What was it?
I have a lot of good people around me, you know, always looking for ways to improve me as a golfer. I think I've been pretty consistent in my career, mostly based on great short game. My coach, Pat Goss, has been instrumental in teaching me great fundamentals in short game. That's given me an overall consistency. This year, I think I've improved on my long game, which was lacking for a while. and that's kind of been the difference between being a good player and having a great year that I've had. I've been able to maintain that short game, but just get a little bit better in the areas where I felt like I needed to really improve. And I've gotten better at driving, hitting more greens, creating more opportunities, and that's obviously been a difference this year. Again, I think you have to have the physical things come first before you're able to really improve the mental side. I don't think you can just sit in a room and start saying to yourself, I'm going to do great this week, unless it's backed up by physical facts.
Would you trade the dual moneyless titles for a single major?
I don't really think that way. I certainly wouldn't change my career for just one major. I would love to win one. I'd love to have it all, obviously. That's obviously the thing that's missing from my resume as a major, and I'll be working hard next year to try and correct that. And looking forward to the challenges. Obviously, this year I think will serve me well. I'll be able to feed off a lot of the experiences this year, and hopefully will give me some added extra confidence when I do play the majors next year.
And do you change preparations just in terms now of that becoming more of a poignant goal?
Not really. That's always been the same. I've always tried to prepare very well for the majors, feel rested, approach the majors are slightly different than the other tournaments, and the goal is always to try and enter those 4 events playing well, and that won't be any different for next year.
Who do you see as the toughest guys to beat this week?
Well, certainly Jeff Ogilvy. I think being a member here, he knows the course pretty well, and I think it's a course where you do need to, from what I've heard, need to have some local knowledge will help. So I'm sure Jeff will be tough to beat. Obviously Greg has had a great run. He's on some great form too, going for the Triple Crown. Is that what you call it? Triple Crown? Yes. There's a lot of other great players as well.
Steve?
Luke, you said it's tough mentally, physically, travelling-wise, playing both tours. Should it be made easier to play both tours? Should there be some changes made to allow more people to play both tours?
Well, it doesn't seem like the PGA Tour, European Tour will ever change that. I mean, if anything, they're making it a little bit tougher. It used to be 11 events in the European Tour to have membership. Now it's 13. And you can understand why. They want to attract the best players to their tour, and they don't want to make it too easy. So I think it's about right now. I don't think it needs to change. I certainly don't think it needs to be made any harder, but certainly, if you want to take on that challenge, it shouldn't be easy. And I think, obviously makes me feel like my accomplishment as even greater, I guess, personally, because it isn't it isn't easy to do, and only a few people are members of both tours.
Luke, 10 or 12, 15, 20 years ago, we would have liked the chance to play maybe an Ashes golf series. We wouldn't be looking so good now, would we?
Well, Australia, these things always go in cycles, and Australia has some great players. Obviously, Adams played very well this year. I know you would have probably expected a little bit more of some of your players, but, I think they have great facilities here. I know my coach has spent some time with some of the institutes, the sporting institutes here, and he's very impressed with everything that they do to try and encourage and get all your amateurs and professional players playing great. And I'm sure it's only a matter of time that the Australians will be playing an even higher level. Obviously it's been a great run for England. We've had some great successes, and we've been able to feed off that. And these things tend to go in cycles.
You guys seem to banter away a fair bit, don't you? Like Twitter and chatting away. Yeah, it's just kind of our dry sense of humour, I suppose, as Brits. We're not. We get along with each other. We have good rivalries. We want to beat each other on the golf course, but off the course we have some good relationships.
Sinead? Luke, you said that local knowledge here is important. the Americans recently showed that this is not really the sort of courses they're used to, but they could handle it, and they won very comfortably. How well do you think you and the other European Tour players here this week are positioned to deal with this course?
Well, can't really speak on behalf of Ian and Matteo, and not sure who else is here from Europe, but I suppose being a European Tour member, we do travel quite a lot. We do go to different countries and different courses, and we're pretty able to adapt quickly. I haven't played the course, so I'm just guessing that local knowledge is a benefit. But from what I hear, there are some slopey greens and places you do and do not want to be. So I'm sure we'll adapt quickly. We're pretty good at visually seeing a course and figuring out pretty quickly where you do and do not want to be. And we'll have to see come Sunday how we really do. But hopefully, the goal for me is always to have a chance to win on Sunday. Hopefully, I'm in that position.
Martin?
Oh, Luke, I'm pretty sure you watched a bit of the President's Cup because I think you were tweeting on it. Would you get a chance to have a look? I mean, Royal Melbourne's just there. I know you're obviously busy and you've got things to do, but would you get a chance to look at it at all, or would you want to? Jeff Ogilvy was saying you were asking him.
Yeah, I was close to going and playing it yesterday. I felt like maybe just a small practice session here would serve me better for this week. I am going over there to do a clinic with some of the some guys tomorrow, I believe, and hopefully I can at least go and around and see a few holes. Again, as I mentioned, I am interested in golf architecture. I just starting my first project in Vietnam this year, and it's something I would love to get into further. Having a bit of an art background, I would love to do that, and I think that would be a great starting place to look at some of the ways I would like to incorporate some of my ideas.
Liz? The award that you won overnight was voted by your peers. Is that particularly important to you?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
The award that you won overnight being voted by your peers, is that particularly important to you?
It is important. I think it's always nice to be respected by your peers and your fellow players. It means a lot personally. And it's any time you are voted for an award like that is very special. There's a lot of great players out there this year. Obviously, there's a bunch of guys that also played well, and obviously be voted ahead of them means a lot to me.
Brent?
Luke, you mentioned your art interest there. Now, I think you studied art at college in America, is that right? Can you give us some sort of background on your interest in that, and what do you still do art-wise, and whether it helps you on the golf course in any way?
Yeah, I was always into art growing up. Both my brothers and sister were too. And when I went to college at Northwestern, I ended up doing an art degree. I was heavily hoping the golf would work out. And it did, fortunately. But it was something I was interested in, and I wanted to study something that interested me. And spent 4 years doing an art degree. Art theory and practice was what it was called. Did a wide range of art history, fine art. I was concentrated mostly in oil painting. Carried it on for quite a number of years and did some paintings. Last 3 years I really haven't done a lot. Since having a family, I haven't really had the time. It's something I would love to pick up again down the road. But yeah, I think as an artist, I'm able to kind of use both sides of my brain, I suppose, in a way. And I've always felt it helped me on the golf course, just in terms of a visual way. Just the way you would visualize a painting coming together is somehow you can visualize a short game, a shot over a bunker, or a shot between trees, and fading it around. I think there's something, a lot of visual instances on the golf course where that helps. Am I good? I wouldn't call myself good, but it depends. Everything's dependent on the viewer, really, isn't it? But I'm proficient, I suppose. I auctioned off a few paintings. I auctioned off one for the PGA Tour a long time ago that sold. I did a couple of paintings for the, what was the Western Open then, that they used as the banners. No, I do not sell any of my paintings. I don't have that many. I've been offered quite a few times to sell them, but I'd rather keep them for myself.
Mark?
Luke, am I right in saying you're a social golfing partner of Michael Jordan?
I do play with him occasionally. I've become reasonably good friends with Michael. He lives in Chicago and obviously is a keen golfer himself.
What's that like?
It's fascinating. I think being able to have close contact with one of the greatest sports person ever to live, you learn a lot from him. And he still has that, even when we play golf, he's very, very competitive and never likes to lose. And, he's fun to be around.
Has that helped you?
Yeah, yes, I suppose.
I mean, just basically by being the best and being with the best, he's the man, isn't he?
Well, it's just nice to, when I do well, I hear words of encouragement from him. And, I haven't specifically sought out advice from him, but it's always nice to be associated with someone that great.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, and thank you, and
Thank you.
congratulations again.